really wanted to do solar. That was a very high agenda item. I started working with them while they were still drafting up the building. I looked at the plans they had, I looked at the site. Well, you can guess what it looks like on a solar site survey with that wonderful bunch of trees to the south. You want to remember this building is pointing true south. Okay, we're down in a hole, we've got trees all the way around us. It's a lousy solar site. They really, really wanted to have solar on a building. Okay, so we said, okay, we can't put it on this building. Let's put some on this building, but let's move it as far this way on the roof as we can to keep it from getting too much afternoon shading. And then let's, you know, for the sake of comparison, let's go ahead and put them up on poles so that we can orient them. Notice these are not pointed true south. These are biased quite a bit to the west. Because if we pointed them true south, we'd have a lot more morning shading, earlier shading on these trees here. By orienting slightly this way, we're getting a better solar window. By putting them up on the taller poles, we're getting a better solar window. This array and this array are identical in terms of size. They're identical in terms of modules. These are all using AstroPower modules. AstroPower is bankrupt. They were the company that developed their whole product line by recycling computer wafer. It was reject into modules. Great business model. They were doing very well in terms of products, etc. But it was a case of engineers
no business sense.
Running a company and balancing books, and basically they got in trouble over DOE grants that they hadn't maintained the paperwork trails on, and DOE ended up shutting them down because non-compliance with grants. And so, you know, one lesson there to be taken away is, you know, you can screw up with a grant and get in trouble. You can have your company go bankrupt if you screw up too much with a DOE grant. It happens, okay? So they're both the same size arrays. They're both feeding into inverters over here. We can trace the wires down off the roof here in this conduit to the DC disconnect, into the inverter, into the production meter, and then into, actually this dives underground, goes over here, and runs all the way over to that building. This solar system supplies that building. It does not supply this building.
Do these come underground?
Yes, those come down underground under the sidewalk, and that one comes up right here into this disconnect switch for that array. So we disconnect this array here. This is the inverter for this array. This is the meter for that one. Recapitulation of a test problem here. I want two people to step forward and read these meters for me.
So it looks like pretty small wires.
Yeah. Remember, we're dealing with high voltage DC.
Okay.
Yeah, even for these are relatively long runs, and all of this is done with number 8, and it's slightly oversized.
So this is all one array?
Yeah, this is all one array, yep, and this is one array here.
What size?
How many watts are each of those panels?
They're about 120 watts each, and they're 12 volt. Remember, we just, you know, it's just been about the last 6 years that we've moved from 12 volt being universal to these new voltages we're seeing of 24, 34, 60 volts. Yeah, because we're trying to go to higher voltages, because of smaller wires, etc., we're beginning to see things. This is all legacy technology from the auto industry, really. 12 volt batteries, 12 volt everything. That's what sort of defined the technology.
So is that 3 strings of 6? Or is that one string of 18?
One string of 18, yeah.
Where do they come
That's how they can get away with 8-gauge wire.
So you got to run a wire from that pole to that pole, that pole to that pole, and then...
It's this.
Holy cow.
It's a pretty interesting series wiring. Yeah.
Daisy chain.
And it's just 1/8 that's coming through?
Yeah.
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 So then that conduit could be a quarter that size if you want.
2/8.
Well, you have a fill percent, maximum fill
You
percent.
Yeah.
have to have 2 wires,
Ground. Okay.
plus and a minus.
Yeah.
Are you losing efficiency from the array?
I think I'll lose it.
Sure, you're losing some,
3/4
but,
is an
but we're
AC
still
rule,
within our 2%.
or just to keep electricians employed.
It depends on, it is, it's NEC.
Because
It
remember,
depends on
we're running,
temperature
we're
derate,
40
running,
feet of wire
we're
going.
running
the
some
conduit
hot,
more and
hot
colder.
voltage through there.
weather than hotter.
We've taken,
Climate.
well, added up,
environment.
how many modules times 12? 12 volts, how many modules?
18.
18 times 12 is what?
224.
Plus
120 plus 96, 216.
200 and
216.
16 or 17, yeah.
Yeah, that's the voltage we're coming down. That's the nominal voltage. Yeah, in fact, since they're 12 volts, we know they're really about
Really
18.
more, yeah.
And so, yeah, we've got upwards of 300 volts coming through there. And remember, because we've seriesed them together, our amperage has remained constant. Now, let's do that one again. It's a 12 volt module, it's 120. So how many amps is it?
It's 10 amps.
10 amps.
Yeah, so our circuit is 10 amps.
Oh,
Is it legal?
The chart in the, when you pull down the useful tools and you go down to that chart that talks about wire sizing, that's for 12 volts.
Yeah, that's right.
That's only for your batteries then.
Right, it's only, remember what I said when I showed it to you, is you can double it for 24 and
Right,
double it again for 48.
48.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Or
you
you
gotta
can
remember
select the little link on the small,
Yeah, somebody's got to have another one.
slightly above in it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a link right, a link right there to a calculator too.
Gotcha.
You can either use that chart or you can just jump to a calculator, or you can do it the hard way and use the formula.
That's what I.
Did you think up the brackets, or were those something that are already pre-made?
That's a pre-manufactured bracket, yeah.
So are there circuit breakers then in that box that's locked at the far right?
Yes,
So is it legal to have these switches locked open like that?
yes.
So fire department just
And the
carries
reason
both
they're
wires?
locked, well, the reason they're locked is, and I've got a key actually on that big fat key ring of mine too. These, yeah, I've got keys to everything. This is illegal. These are the DC disconnect. The disconnect for the system is removal of the meter. That's your AC disconnect. Also, you could disconnect it in here, but once again, yeah, that is locked. So you can't disconnect in there. So we've got lots of disconnects that are inaccessible on this system. The reason being, of course, is they had a lot of trouble before they locked them with people coming in and turning it off. Because, you know, gee whiz, there's a switch, I can throw it. Well, I will, because I'm a kid and, you know, I don't have anything better to do Saturday night and I'm a little drunk. In fact, same little drunks. You'll notice that the red handle is gone. You'll notice the red handle is gone. You'll notice that's been smacked, that's been smacked, that's been smacked. You can feel how the window's broken in on that one. And these, both of these had been smacked off too. I mean, that was the only thing in the system really that broke well at all, were the meters.
They should have made a kind of like a.
Okay, did anybody read our meters?
Yeah,
Okay.
05891 is the one.